Trust the process. Have faith. Be patient. Find joy in the journey. Do these platitudes really help, or have they been so overused they're no longer thoughtful or interesting? After all, how can we trust the process in the middle of everything going oh so wrong and we're feeling a little unhinged, a little bit out of control? This podcast is all about helping you progress in your spiritual growth and have success on life's journey. It's all about getting unstuck by unlocking your hidden power. And I hope today's episode inspires you to look more closely at exactly how to trust the process, or whether the process needs to be completely thrown out the window. So here we go. Hi there and welcome. My name is Rami, like Do Re Mi. I'm a best-selling author and creator of the Get Unstuck Revolution. I help extraordinary women just like you dissolve the obstacles in your path so you can bring success to you. Now let's get started with today's video. Okay, let me jump off the screen here so I can see my laptop. And today we're talking about trusting the process and how to be centered in trust and not feel out of control while we're trying to get through that process. After all, what exactly are we supposed to put our trust in? You know, I asked this at a workshop recently, and there wasn't one single person who had the same answer. Some people said to trust in yourself. Some people said to trust in the process of surrendering. Others said there are hidden components in the process, and we have to trust that all will be revealed in due time. So let me ask you, when you think about having success on life's journey, what's the process you're trusting in? Have you ever thought about this? Well, if you aren't getting the success you want in full abundance in life's journey, and if you're wanting to tap into a greater knowingness and align with the higher consciousness of your infinite self instead of the lower ego thinking that pushes desires away, then this episode is for you. It's time to be unabashedly, unapologetically, happily untethered to ego thinking. It's time to align with our soul's path instead. This episode is for you if you wonder, what exactly are we supposed to put our trust in? How to reach and expand, even if things feel out of control. And the perfect way to trust the process that we're going through. Yes, these episodes are about how to find your hidden power when you want to transform challenges into successes. I like to call it the audacity of alchemy. Because when we're feeling stuck, it's never the situation that has us stuck. It's our energy that's become stuck in anxiety, overwhelm, doubts, worries, frustrations, indecision, and even anger. And often this is because of a spiritual injury that we've experienced, some kind of hidden trauma. So it isn't the pain of the situation, it's the pain of not being connected in the natural energy of who we really are, of being connected to that magical part of us that's a creative vibrational being who can use positive energies to create what we want and bring it into physical manifestation. We can allow our manifestations to materialize and not get stuck in the negative vibrations that block them. These positive energies that we talk about so much are where we find the magic of alchemy, because our choice of frequency, our choice of those higher energy thought patterns can change the course of our journey. And today we're talking about trusting the process and how to be centered in trust and not feel out of control when we're trying to get through our process. And what exactly are we supposed to put our trust in? You know, there's a famous quote by Vivian Greene who said, "Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain." And for me, this really speaks about mindset. What will we do with our minds during the process that we've found ourselves in? Maybe it's the process of figuring out what to do for a new business. Maybe it's the process of healing a relationship that's gone off the rails. Maybe it's the process of changing our financial picture. One option is to just let go, to surrender to the process. And another option might be to roll up our sleeves and actively look for a solution. But to just sit back and trust the process, somehow this feels a little bit like denial, a little bit like the far end of letting go, to the point of not even taking responsibility for our own situation. So what will we do with our minds during the process that we've found ourselves in? I know that for most people, and myself included, I don't want to stay in denial. I don't want to stay in the middle of everything being undone. For most of us, we want to be able to just move forward into a really good, positive direction. The question that we're looking at today is how to be centered in trust and not feel out of control during the process. As we talk about on just about every episode, we want to tap into a greater knowingness and align with the higher consciousness of our infinite self, our inner being, and not get stuck in the negative vibrations of that lower ego thinking. Our mind is our own. And although our ego likes to think that it's in control and it's insidious at trying to prove this, we can use practice and discipline within our own mindset. We can help it grow by using it the right way. We just have to know how. The right shift in our thinking changes our behaviors and, more importantly, our results. We have a choice. We can become fixed in our thoughts and stay stuck in what's not working, or we can develop thoughts that encourage growth. And you know me, one of my favorite ways to encourage growth is using mantras, affirmations that train our brains to think about things differently. The repetitive use of mantras can literally repattern our thought patterns, and that's pretty exciting. While I'm thinking about it, let's take this one step farther. Have you ever had the experience of saying an affirmation and suddenly realizing that it's no longer an affirmation, but it's become a realization? For instance, if your favorite affirmation is, "My life is filling with prosperity and love, bringing me everything I need and want in beautiful abundance," imagine the day that you look around and see it's become true. It's now a realization and no longer just an affirmation. That's the power of repatterning our thoughts. In fact, you can use any affirmation or mantra this way. Simply think of it as a realization instead of a mantra. So, anyway, we were talking about not becoming fixed in our thoughts, but repatterning our thoughts so that they encourage growth. Because when we're going through a process of some kind or even a setback, we want to find a way to reach and expand, to grow. That's what's being asked of us. Remember, we're living in the illusion, and the illusion is rarely about the physical situation we see in front of us. Yes, the situation is part of our physical reality, but underneath whatever we're going through, the illusion is asking us to reach and expand, to inspire and enhance the lives of others, to find joy or enjoyment. This is a perfect way to look at the process and trust what we're going through. If we start feeling out of control or feeling like some other force has control over our outcome, then we know that we've fallen into ego thinking. Our job is to tap into a greater knowingness and align with the higher consciousness of our inner being and not get stuck in the negative vibrations of the lower ego thinking that will tell us we aren't in control. I mean, think about a recent situation that you found challenging. Maybe it was a divorce. Maybe you had to step away from a group that you loved. Maybe it's the great pandemic of 2020. Do you see the value in this perspective that the process was asking us to reach and expand and to grow? When we repattern our thoughts to find a way in the process to reach and expand, then we become free from worry and indecision and other negative emotions that can keep us stuck. So it isn't that we're trusting the process necessarily. We're trusting in ourselves to repattern those thoughts that can create a positive new outcome. Being stuck in the negative vibrations or negative thoughts about our situation will repel a positive outcome. And boy, this can limit us in some significant ways. So we always want to think about the possibilities, the options, the opportunities, the positive outcomes. For every possibility we think of, the universe immediately comes up with 100 ways for us to have it. So here's an exercise that I just love doing, and this is a daily exercise. I'd like you to think of something that you'd like to create or a situation you'd like to see change. I'd like you to set a timer for about 10 minutes. Take out a piece of paper and brainstorm the possibilities, the options, the opportunities for 20 minutes. Maybe you'll do it for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, but the idea is to do it every day. Think of something that you'd like to create or a situation that you'd like to see change, and set a timer for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and just brainstorm the possibilities, the options, the opportunities. And do this every day. Let's say that you'd like to write a book or a song. For 10 minutes, brainstorm ideas. Then brainstorm on a vision. Maybe you want to be featured on Larry King or do a radio tour, starting with East Coast and working your way around the world. Maybe you can see yourself being featured on major stages. Maybe someone famous calls you up for a collaboration. Maybe your book inspires other artists, or maybe you become the leading authority on your topic. Maybe you have a dream of being on one person's stage. Do you remember the young girl? Her name was Charisse from the Philippines, and she dreamed of one day singing with Celine Dion. And she daydreamed about it every day, she said. And sure enough, she found herself on the Oprah show meeting and singing with Celine Dion. It was a huge surprise. I think she went on to get a contract with David Foster, if I remember right. But it all started with daydreaming. 10 minutes a day. Just start there and do this every day. So for whatever process you need to get through, if you want to feel like you aren't losing control, or if you aren't sure what exactly to trust in the process, trust in your ability to repattern your thoughts, to change your frequency, and look for positive possibilities and positive new outcomes. It's kind of magical, and it's your hidden power. If you know anyone who struggles trusting the process and wonders how to repattern the situation they're in, feel free to share this episode. This podcast is all about helping you progress in your spiritual growth and have success on life's journey. It's all about getting unstuck by unlocking your hidden power. Our spiritual journey is to bring in the light, to choose higher frequency thought patterns and positive emotions, because our choice of frequency can change the course of our journey, and it can change the journey for others around us. So reflecting back on everything we covered today, how can you apply what you've learned? When you think about trust, what do you normally put trust in? Is it some force outside of yourself? Or do you harness the power of positive thoughts to expect a positive outcome? And in the process, if I can use that word, process, in the process, look for an outcome that's bigger, brighter, better, deeper, richer than you've ever imagined. I hope this helps you as you're using the powers of alchemy to transform challenges and obstacles into positive new successes. But if you still can't get your head around what's got you stuck, you can tell me about it. You can send me a question to questions@unlockyourhiddenpower.com, or I also have a free guide available for you if you'll simply visit unlockyourhiddenpower.com. Of course, if you're already right here on the podcast page and not listening through iTunes or one of the others, then you'll see it right there for you at the top of the right-hand column. What is this free guide all about? Well, if you've ever thought to yourself, I need to get my life back, or if you're just having a hard time that you can't seem to recover from, then you've probably suffered invalidation, abuse, or a spiritual injury somewhere along the way. Knowing how to take back your life so you can just move forward is one of the most common questions I get. Fortunately, finding your way back to you is easier than it might seem. This new guide is the first step in getting out of the sheer frustration of being stuck and spinning your wheels on success that seems elusive. So thanks for joining me today, and I'm wishing you a life filled with all the alchemy you need to bring success to you. Feel free to share this video with anyone you know who's feeling stuck, and don't forget to grab your free guide at unlockyourhiddenpower.com.